Hey there, this is Dr. Corey Gilbert with the Healthy Marriage Inner Circle and the Warrior Marriage Podcast. And today I want to talk about a group that tends to go missing unnoticed when it comes to getting help. And a lot of times it's either out of embarrassment or out of just this mentality of that we're supposed to just kind of pull it together and push through. And that's couples, so families, that are actually having either sexual issues themselves or they have issues with their children, either acting out, addicted to pornography, acting out sexually in other ways, or actually struggling with their gender. And the fact is this is really a lonely battle, if you will, or a lonely place to be. This is one of the areas that I enjoy working with the most because I've seen incredible success. Couples finding hope and finding peace as a couple, as a family. Children that actually find a new resolve and the ability to choose, the ability to think through what they do and why. And then young men and young women who actually can enter adulthood that with less baggage, basically. So it's really, really difficult. I don't know if you can hear in the background here. I've got my kids and some other kids are playing in the other room, and it's just fun to hear the banter and the joy. Are you familiar with that? Do you know when the day that stops? What's that a sign of? And oftentimes it's a sign of something happened. Either they became more aware, or they faced something that they didn't know what to do with, or they did something that they actually probably shouldn't have done, looked at something they shouldn't have looked at. We live in a crazy world. I actually call these devices here porn portals. And it's sad that actually we have these devices that actually can access the world. And so the stewardship of devices are critical, internet in general. But also it really comes down to our children's hearts, our hearts as a couple, us as a couple protecting our marriage, and then children actually having safe places to talk, and really kind of in some sense being forced into talking. And that's the hard part. That means couples that are, and I talk to parents all the time, couples that are just going to wait for their children to ask, probably not going to happen. It does happen some, count that as a victory. But for many, they won't. So it's us being able to ask the hard questions and go there over and over and over. And so I love empowering couples and families to do this. This isn't huge shifts. This is just kind of highlighting something that we actually tend to want to do, just not really sure how to do. And so I really enjoy doing that. So if you're a couple that's struggling in your sex life, your relationship in that way, if you're a couple who's got children who's have questions about gender, have questions about sexual issues, or they're actually crossing some lines and you're really worried about them, I would love to help. I'd love to get on the phone. You could go to drcorey.org and you can book a call. We can see if there's a way that we can talk and if I can bless you and serve you in some way. There is hope. This is actually very, very, to use the medical word, treatable. It's not something that has to be a cross to bear for life. But temptation is temptation. So how we face that, how we address that. Kind of the model that I use, and you've probably heard me talk about, is when we leave stuff in our operating system, which is our unconscious, or as Carolyn Leaf talks about, the non-conscious, so we don't really think about it. It just kind of does. It operates in the background. We're at the mercy of habits and what we've been taught, and the stories and the scripts that we have in our head. And I don't want that for you. We need to move things to our conscious, where we can choose, where we can actually have our prefrontal cortex engage, which isn't fully developed till age 25. Yay. But even more powerful than that is to move things to our mouth, to discussing it, talking about it. A lot of times you just talk through something you're trying to decide verbally, and in the process of talking it out, not dialogue, you speaking to someone else and them saying nothing, you actually come up with solutions for yourself, which is actually quite fascinating. Because oftentimes we do have the answer, or we really know what we should do. We just kind of need that prompt or push. Other times we just need some skills. We need tools to know how to best navigate this difficult season or difficult time, or to ask the right questions. I feel like a lot of the questions we're asking when it comes to gender and sexuality are the wrong questions. They're getting us stuck, more in trouble, more trapped, more afraid. They're not giving us answers. They're not giving us peace. And so I really want to help provide that for you. Whether, again, it's gender questions, whether it's sexual temptation questions, whether it's actual crossing of lines that now have potential consequences. And then as a couple, this should be a good part, but a very important part to the side in your marriage, not the most important. And it's usually highlighted when there's a problem. So those are actually very, very addressable. So if this is you, love to hop on a call. Again, drcorey.org, and let's talk. Let's see if there's something that can be done in a very short amount of time to change your life, to change your marriage, change your family, and set up your children for success, which is my heart and passion. So bless you, your marriage, and may you have a marriage and a family that you're proud of.